Picture this. You are just days away from finalizing an international adoption, or maybe closing on a dream home overseas, and suddenly everything grinds to a halt. Why? All because of a single rejected document. Today, we're diving into this explainer to completely demystify the somewhat stressful bureaucratic maze of getting a New Jersey apostille so you can get it right on the very first try.
When you're dealing with any kind of international document exchange, the stakes are incredibly high. A single typo or a missed stamp can literally mean the difference between a smooth transition abroad and a total logistical nightmare. So today, we are breaking down the exact step-by-step process for getting your documents authenticated in the Garden State totally headache-free.
Just a quick heads up before we really get going. The information we're covering is accurate as of today, but as we all know, government fees and procedures can and do change. You should always verify the absolute latest details with official New Jersey state resources, or maybe chat with a legal professional if you've got a super complex case.
Okay, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're covering what an apostille actually is, preparing your documents, submitting the application, common roadblocks, and finally, my top tips for hassle-free filing.
Let's start with Section 1. What is an apostille and the Hague Convention? So what actually is this thing? Well, back in 1961, the Hague Apostille Convention introduced a way to simplify how we authenticate documents across borders. Basically, an apostille is a single official certificate that acts like a VIP pass for your paperwork. It verifies the authenticity of a public document and completely replaces the old, incredibly tedious, multi-step process of embassy legalization. If the country you're dealing with is part of the Hague Convention, this one certificate proves to them that the signature or the seal on your document is 100% genuine.
You might be wondering when you'd actually need one of these. Honestly, they pop up in a ton of major life events. Whether you're a student getting ready to study abroad in Spain, a couple registering an international marriage, or a business owner opening a corporate branch in Greece, these are all real-life scenarios where an apostille is absolutely mandatory. We actually see this all the time with dual citizenship applications for countries like Italy, Spain, and Poland.
Moving right along to Section 2, preparing your New Jersey documents and the strict requirements you need to follow.
All right, this is where most people make their first critical mistake, because New Jersey has very specific rules. You have to follow these 3 steps perfectly. First, you need the original document or a state-certified copy. Don't even think about using a regular photocopy. That's a hard no. Second, depending on what the document is, you need proper certification or a wet ink notarization. And third, you absolutely cannot skip the mandatory online cover sheet.
Now, listen up, because this next part is a massive trap for applicants. There is a huge distinction between vital records and regular documents. Recordable vital records, we're talking birth certificates, marriage certificates, death certificates, cannot be notarized by your local notary public, period. They have to be official, certified copies issued directly by the New Jersey Department of Health. On the flip side, non-recordable documents, like a university diploma or a power of attorney, absolutely require an active New Jersey notary to sign off using a proper jurat or acknowledgement statement. Just slapping a stamp on it won't cut it. It will be rejected instantly.
And here's another huge deal breaker, especially in our post-2020 world. New Jersey explicitly rejects digital or remote online notarizations for apostilles. Your signature and the notary's signature must be in wet ink. I can't stress this enough. Electronic signatures of any kind will render your document completely useless for this process.
Section 3. Submitting your application and DOORS logistics.
Once your paperwork is absolutely flawless, it's submission time. You'll need to know this acronym, DOORS. That's the Division of Revenue and Enterprise Services down in Trenton. They are the exclusive issuer of New Jersey apostilles. But keep this vital rule in mind. DOORS only handles documents issued or notarized within New Jersey. If you were born in New York, you can't get your birth certificate apostilled in New Jersey. You have to go back to the issuing state. So let's talk time and money. You essentially have 2 choices. Sending it via regular mail carries a state fee of $25 per document, but you're looking at a processing time of about 20 business days. If you're on a tight deadline, you can do it expedited walk-in at their Trenton office. It's $40 total per document, so just $15 more, but they'll process it in about 8.5 business hours. For most people, skipping that 3-week wait is totally worth the extra cash.
If you do decide to go the mail route, your envelope needs to contain exactly these 4 things, no exceptions. You need your original document, that mandatory online DOORS cover sheet which you fill out on their portal, a check or money order payable to the Treasurer, State of New Jersey, and a self-addressed return envelope. If you forget even one of these, your application just halts right there. Moving on to Section 4, roadblocks, real-life scenarios, and how to completely avoid rejection.
You would be amazed at how often applications get tossed in the rejection pile for seemingly minor mistakes. We already talked about electronic signatures and missing cover sheets, but another massive one is using a notary whose license happens to be expired. Yes, the state actually checks this. To make sure yours is accepted, double-check that you have original wet ink, a currently active New Jersey notary, official certified copies, and that door sheet.
Okay, I'm going to share a surprising fact now that literally breaks people's hearts all the time. When you finally get your finished document back in the mail, the state attaches the apostille certificate to it using 2 regular staples. Do not touch them. I mean it. If you remove those staples just to run the paper through a scanner or make a flat photocopy, you have just ruined the entire document. Removing them completely voids the apostille's validity on an international level. It's crazy, but it's true.
Check out this very specific year, 1917. This perfectly highlights some of New Jersey's unique bureaucratic quirks. Say you're working on a genealogy case, maybe applying for citizenship by descent. Any vital records you need from before January 1, 1917 actually have to come from the New Jersey State Archives, not the standard Department of Health. It's a small detail, but a really important one if you're pulling up records of your great-grandparents.
And finally, Section 5, tips for hassle-free filing and expert advice.
Let's get into some insider knowledge here. First, a crucial tip about mailing. DOORS actually treats USPS Priority and Express Mail exactly like regular mail, mostly because the Postal Service doesn't deliver directly to their specific desk. So, if you absolutely need reliable tracking, you're better off using a private courier like FedEx or UPS. Just remember to include a prepaid courier envelope for the return trip. And hey, if this whole process feels way too overwhelming, remember there are professional third-party apostille services out there. For a fee, they'll just manage the entire thing for you.
Oh, and one more quick tip about translations. If your document is in a foreign language, the state highly recommends attaching a notarized English translation. But here's the catch. If you attach a notarized translation to a vital record, the state is going to issue 2 separate apostilles. That means you'll be charged 2 state fees. So just don't let that surprise you when you're writing your check.
Wrapping up and next steps. We've covered a ton of ground today, but ultimately, getting it right the first time is what really matters. When you're up against tight international deadlines, taking that extra 20 minutes to ensure your ink signatures, notary stamps, and cover sheets are absolutely perfect is totally worth the peace of mind. You want to drop that envelope in the mail knowing it won't bounce back.
So are your documents ready for the world? If this explainer gave you some clarity, please hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with anyone you know who might be fighting their way through the New Jersey apostille process right now. But before you go, I want to leave you with a quick thought. As our lives become increasingly global, how many other unseen bureaucratic borders are standing between you and your ambitions? Get your paperwork in order, and the world is quite literally yours. Thanks for learning with me.